Welcome to Being You, an SPH Productions presentation. My name is Shane Hodges, author of It's Time to Be You, How to Become Your Most Authentic Self. My guest today is 26-year-old British pop sensation Smashby. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me on, honey. This is so fun.
Obviously, there's the accent. Can you tell everyone where you are located?
Yeah, so I'm from like the north of England. I was born in a town called Bradford, and I live in the Yorkshire Dales. So I live in like the countryside of the north.
Well, the way I like to start off my interviews is a rapid fire Q&A where I ask my guests short answer questions and see how many we can get to in about 60 seconds. So,
Okay.
are you ready?
I'm ready for the short king energy. Let's go.
Favorite TV show?
Desperate Housewives.
Okay. Oh, who's your favorite character?
Gabriella.
What scares you?
Spiders. Yeah, spiders.
Drink of choice?
Margarita cocktail.
Most comfortable outfit?
Joggers and hoodie. Like sweats all day.
What is your
Love
dream collaboration?
Britney Spears.
What do you wear to bed?
Sometimes pajamas, sometimes nothing, depends on the weather.
Favorite drag queen?
Oh my god, Davina De Campo.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee, but iced all the time.
First crush?
Oh God. Oh my God, Doctor Who, like David Tennant, Doctor Who.
Nice. Well, we got through 9 or 10, I believe. So,
That was good.
all right. Our first segment is called You Do You. This is where we get to know a little bit about what you do in terms of your career, work, etc. I've listened to several of your songs, some of which go back to 2016. I'm wondering, for you, how did it all start?
Well, I've always been one of those like theatre kids. I was always performing since the minute I left the womb. And then I just feel like from getting into secondary school, that's when I really started to write pop music because I kind of needed like escapism. I was getting bullied a lot, being like a little queer kid. So that's when I started doing it. And I posted a cover and it went like around my whole school, around all the local area. And at that time, I didn't have many friends. I wasn't really very popular. So I was expecting a really bad reaction. And people were actually quite nice. And I was like, oh, wait, anyone likes this? I could do this now. I can make this a thing. So the minute I left school, I started rebranding myself as Smashby on all social media, working on my own stuff in the studio, trying to get booked on Pride scenes. I really wanted to perform on the Pride circuits. I was like, I want to do that. Like, this is my stage. I felt like I almost had this purpose of being like a gay pop star for the kids that needed it. Like, I would have thrived to
Mhm.
see that growing up, like in my school. So I made that my goal, my mission. I just started doing pride shows and anti-bullying schools tours and just building up this little community of people that were into my music.
I love that. So, do you write all of your own songs?
Yeah, I do now. I think I realized the reason I started this was to get my own voice heard and to get a queer voice amplified. And I realized there's so much power in writing your own stuff, and it's so much more fulfilling.
I saw somewhere that you write about things that are very personal to you. What, if anything, has been difficult to to write or to allow into your music?
It's been really difficult forever and until the past year and a half to write anything personal at all. When I started this, as much as I had the intention to be the gay pop star that I wanted people to have that wanted representation, my songs weren't really about my struggles or my journey. But in the past couple of years, I've really figured out that leaning into that hard stuff that I didn't think anyone would really care to listen to, that not explicitly in terms of like bad language, but explicitly in terms of no filter and honesty. I didn't realize people would want to hear that. And then when I realized I could do it and I actually could write it in a way that wasn't super depressing, I was like, oh, I can lean into this stuff now. So it's been hard to write
Mhm.
about crushes that I've been obsessed with, that writing about family struggles. I have some really strained relationships with my family members. Personal struggles, the first song I wrote, This New Era, and that's on my album, it was about my struggle with being in love with a straight guy. That was the first personal song I wrote this whole new era, and it just blew open my mind. I didn't know I could write that from that place, and it come out okay. And it's healed me a lot. And I think the music helped me get there.
You have collaborated with others in the past. I'm wondering, what are the experiences like when you work with another artist?
It's always different. I've worked with so many producers since I started out. Some that really amplify and uplift you, and then some that don't. My first collaboration with an artist, though, feature moment, was Aja from Drag Race US, and such an amazing, overwhelming experience. I had this song, and I was like, I'd love to get Aja on this, but I don't know the girl. So I just literally found the email, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep it real, and I'm just gonna say, hey girl, this is my new single. If you wanna jump on it, hit me up. Within 2 hours, the whole thing was done. She's like, I'm down, let's
Wow.
go. Literally in the studio, like, next thing. It was cut so quickly, and I was like, did I just pull this off? I was like, did I just do that? I could not believe it. It was such a thing for me, and I think it really put me on the map in terms of like queer music and artistry. I
Mhm.
haven't had that kind of exposure before that point. So I was eternally grateful to her.
I think it's a great example of how sometimes if you just ask, if you just put yourself out there, things that seem impossible or unlikely can absolutely happen. So I
Yeah,
love that.
completely. It made me realize you really can achieve anything. With Velvet and Emmy too. With them, it's been a really healthy process of bringing out my newer artistry in terms of writing about the personal stuff. And it's been really now healing to work with Emmy and Velvet because I'm working with two people that are also really credible, really amazingly talented, but allow me to express myself however I want to.
Leaning into the country piece, you have released some new songs recently. What led you to put on the boots and the cowboy hat and go that direction?
I mean, who doesn't love the boots? Who doesn't love a sparkly bow and a cowboy hat? Like, I'm all here for
Yes.
the get up. I think it was something where, like I say, when I was writing the new stuff and I wrote the song about not being seen as a girl by someone that I was into, it was something so personal I'd never written about before. And I'm singing into my phone. It comes to getting in the studio, and I'm like, I don't really know how these are supposed to sound. I don't really know what the direction is. Then the more I listened to them and listened to other stuff in my like playlist, I was like, there's kind of like a country twang in this stuff. So I was like, I'm gonna do it. And honestly, like even they've said it, I've just grown in so much confidence from doing it. I found comfort
Mm-hmm.
and peace in what I'm doing and so much confidence. And like, I really feel like I found it in my voice, my writing, and everything. So it's really something I had to follow and I had to try it out. Whatever it's coming out like, that people maybe hear or don't hear, I'm proud of it either way.
I know that Brittany is your diva, your influence. That being said, whom, if anyone, are you inspired by in the more country genre?
So many women are killing it in country. I love Dasha. Obviously, popped off last year with Austin. I think she kicked open the doors for a lot of young people to really get into country music. I also love Alana Springsteen. I don't know if you know Alana Springsteen, but I love Alana Springsteen. She's amazing. Erin Kinsey, Ashley Cook is killing it right now. I've always loved Miley Cyrus growing up as well. Growing up from
Yeah.
Nashville, her godmother's Dolly Parton. I've always loved that growing up.
Oh,
Hello. Hello.
love Dolly. Mm,
Love Dolly, love
mm.
Shania. So I obviously have grown up with these people, but finding these new country girls now as well, I'm like, there's something so incredible about this music. And there's a few British girls dipping their toes in it too. Twinny and Megan
Okay.
McKenna, massive fans of them too. So loads of women in country I'm massively inspired by.
Very cool. I really enjoyed the beat of First Rodeo. And that was one that I was dancing around to as I was working out this morning.
Working out.
But the message of love myself is that one really hit me. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a message, it seems, of heartbreak, but perhaps on a deeper level, your journey in finding yourself. Give me a little feedback on that. What is that song for you?
You're so right with that. That was a song written about the time when I was coming out and when I was trying to find myself. It was like, I've got these really strong feelings. What do I do? Because I used to block it out all the time. So that is how it started for me. I was in love with someone who really didn't treat me nicely. And that friendship, whatever it was, fell apart the minute I did come out. And so it became a thing of having to process getting over someone that I thought in my head I would end up being with. And instead, it led me to a journey of being like, this is about me now and trying to get through what's going on, which is everyone talking about my
Mhm.
sexuality, which I wasn't prepared for at the time, and trying to learn to love myself for who I was authentically. So it really is a song I wrote only last year, but it really is written about me 10 years ago and what I was going through there. I thought it was the perfect first single of the new era, just because it does let people in from where all this started for me, really.
Nice. Well, on the music front, what do you want to do next? What's your big goal?
There's so many big goals. I've been, like I say, working on so much music the past year. I've finally got enough material for an album that I'm really proud of and really connected to, really happy with. I would love to release my debut album. I would love to tour the world. I would love to do Eurovision, and I would love to be in a Disney movie. That's a massive goal that I've always had, is to do a voice in a Disney movie or do a song for a Disney movie, something like that, and have my own reality show. These are the big goals that I've got going on.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I want to move into our next segment, which is Who Are You? And this is where we get a little more personal. So, other than music and Instagram videos, what do you like to do for fun or with your spare time?
I love to watch Disney movies. I sound like such like a Disney adult nerd, but I love it. I love Disney movies. It's really, really simple white girl of me, but I just love to go for cocktails and just gossip with my friends. I'm not really a clubber anymore. I kind of feel like I'm over the club thing. I love to just talk to people, and if I can't gossip and if I can't laugh and like laugh with someone, then I don't care. Do you know what I mean? Like I want to go with someone, I have a gossip with them. I love doing that.
Yeah,
I love just yeah, just being in the sunshine and trying to, which is hard in the UK. So I try to get away when I can, and just get
understand.
a little yeah, get a little cocktail and just. I love to dance. I love to try and do some fitness. I do yoga every single morning as like a self care routine. Self care is a
Nice.
big thing for me as well. Getting treatments done when I can, looking after my skin. That gives me a lot of pride as well. I love that.
Love that. I am a big proponent of self-care. Counselors, we are not always great at practicing what we preach, but
I
I
bet.
try.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yes. So I do want to ask, is it true that you are not able or don't know how to drive?
Yeah, I can't drive. I literally can't drive at all. I've started to learn a couple of times. I've always had some kind of panic attack and cancelled the rest of my lessons. And then when I last tried, it was COVID. In and out of lockdowns
Mm.
here. I kept booking the theory. It kept getting cancelled because of the lockdowns. And I was just like, you know what? The universe is telling me this is not my plan right now. We'll come back to it. But you know what? Like 4 years have passed and I haven't gone back to it. And I've been like, you know what? I think I've got the self awareness to realize that I'm a danger to other people on the road. So I'm just gonna, get an Uber or I'm gonna jump on a train and I'm gonna save everyone the ordeal because it's not a pretty sight.
That's hilarious. So you are 26 years old now, and you said that you came out at 15. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So how did you navigate that? I know you had mentioned bullying, and if I recall reading correctly, you told some friends that you thought were good friends, and one ended up perhaps not being as good of a friend and
Yeah.
outed you.
Yeah.
How did you navigate all
Well, I had a massive panic attack. At that point, it was like the last year of high school for us, which is when we're 16, 15 going to 16. So
that? Okay.
I was in one class with my close friends, and then the other class of other people, that's where this happened. It was like an RE class, which is like religious education. I think they were talking about like, they called it just like homosexuality, in that class, and talking about LGBT things. And someone just decided to take it upon themselves to be like, Smashby's gay, and just outed me to everybody. I had no idea. At that point, then it's spreading across the rest of the school. And so it's like a movie, babe, ready for this. So I literally come out of the class, I go to get my dinner, I'm in the lunch queue on my little tray, and one of my other friends from another class runs up to me. He's like, oh my God, we need to tell you something, like, just, be calm. And I was like, why don't you be calm? Like, what's going on? And they were just like, just like, don't freak out. And I was like, why am I not freaking out? Like, what's going on? And they were like, everyone knows. I was like, everyone knows what? And they're like, everyone knows that you're gay. And I just, that feeling of like I wasn't planning to tell everyone right now. I was just working across a few of my friends. I remember dropping my tray and being like, F. Do you know what I mean? Like this is so not ideal. I feel like everyone knew at that point. I felt like the entire world knew and I was just not prepared for it. So I just
Mm.
ran across the school as far as I could just to have my moment and be like, what the hell am I going to do? How am I going to get my head around this now? Everyone knows, what do I do? What are they thinking? And it just became just this nightmare situation. But then my friends came and found me and they were like consoling me and stuff and saying, look, no one cares, da 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 da. And then I think once I heard how it had come about, I was just so then almost angry. I was like, why would this person then do that to me and
Mhm.
take that away from me? I think everyone like knew anyway, but I think it was just that I wasn't ready for them to know yet. I figured that out,
Right.
and I didn't want to prove them right. You know, they'd been using it against me for years in like a negative way. I wanted to be like, I own it because I'm proud of this now and I know what this is. And what you've been saying about me for years has no power against me anymore. So I managed to do that and reclaim it. But it was just at the time, it just felt like the end of the world, honestly.
I can imagine. Yes. You have stated that you've had cosmetic surgery
Mhm.
at some point and then decided somewhere along the lines to pull back on that.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me about what led you to do it in the first place? And then how did you make the decision that that wasn't what you wanted any longer?
Yeah, that was interesting. I've always seen celebrities that had it, that it was pretty visible and pretty obvious they had it. And I always thought, I'm going to be like that one day. That's going to align with how I feel. Because I've always known like I was going to look a bit more maybe a bit more feminine, a bit more striking than what I was when I was younger. So I knew I'd started at one point, and I just naturally got into it when I was like 19. I just started getting into the fillers and the Botox and stuff. I really focused on my lips a lot. It was so obvious, and it was all everyone commented about for years. And at the time, I was like, I wanted to look striking, I wanted to get people's attention, so I kept feeding into it. And then I think it got to the point where my doctor was like, you have to dissolve this because this looks awful, and this is my work, and like this needs to go. So I did it the first time because I had to, and because I was under the illusion that I would just get more afterwards. Then I realized, oh my God, what the hell have I been doing this whole time? And did I proceed to get more afterwards? Yes. But I then only last year was like, I'm done with this now. And it was around the time when I started to write the personal music. I think I just started to work through a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
And I was like, I just I'm doing stuff for what? Like, for what reason? I'd really attached this idea of cosmetics with celebrity and feeling important and getting people's attention with how I looked. I think once I detached from that and realized, like, that I was enough as I am and just getting it more for me or little things done for me. It's a process, it's a journey, but I'm just really on this thing of accepting myself now. I think I'm really loving some of the things that I was insecure about before. And it's weird. The more I'm holding off with it and I'm just letting myself be more natural, the more feminine I'm coming across to people. And I was like, oh my God, that's great. So I didn't know that would happen. So yeah.
I want to ask something about what you just mentioned aspects of allowing the more feminine side to be seen. Here in the United States, the topic of gender and fluidity is a hot button right now. We're dealing with a lot of political and legal issues.
Yeah.
To what extent are you experiencing that, or is that happening in the UK?
So the time with this is impeccable because literally today we just had some news from the UK Supreme Court that they have just passed that trans women are not legally seen as women. So this is heartbreaking for trans women everywhere. And it's really weird that it's specifically trans women. It's not talking about trans men. It's again misogyny just repackaged. I've wanted to talk about this all day on my socials. I feel guilty even talking about it because I feel like it's not my space to take up. I feel really sad about this because I just feel like we're seeing so much regression with this community that I'm really connected to and I feel really passionate about. And I feel connected because I do navigate the world as like regardless of gender, like quite non-conforming with my gender. So I do just instantly relate and have so much empathy for these people, especially trans men and women. To see them get their rights taken back slowly, one step at a time, and it's like a trickle down effect from America. I can't not care about it, and I find it hard not to talk about it in everything I do because I'm so hurt by the fact this can happen to people and that anyone is up for debate. I've grown up with be yourself, live your truth, that's how you'll get by in life. And now it's the
Mhm.
opposite that's getting passed through. I just find it really painful for these people. And I don't even want to say that on socials because I feel like it's not my place to cry about it. But it affects everyone. I think it's just heartbreaking to even see because I feel so helpless for everyone.
I appreciate your willingness to show emotion and be real about it. In regard to it not being your space, I completely understand where you are coming from. I am a cis gay man, but I have worked with the gender population for nearly 15 years. And the
Yeah.
things that I have seen in terms of both progression, but also sliding back, I agree with you. It is really sad. It is very scary to
Mm.
see these things happening, and recognizing that these are human beings. And I agree with you. I think that the misogyny and the patriarchal aspects of things very much come into play. So
Yeah.
thank you for your candor and your honesty. I want to ask one more question. You posted a picture of a young child, and the post was about meeting your younger self. It read, and I said, it gets better. We don't dress for other people anymore. I love that. And I'm
Mm.
wondering, what has your journey been like in terms of coming into your own authenticity?
It's it's been really interesting because I feel now so much closer with myself as like a 5 year old than I had in such a long time. And I think it's just the whole leaning into everything that I think about myself without hesitation anymore. It's just been quite a slow progression. I've just really slowly evolved into the person that I feel like I really was always meant to be, and also the person that I started off as. I feel like that little boy so much who just loved to sing Ariel and just loved to perform and just had like nothing but pure intentions. I feel so comfortable in myself now compared to how I have done for a long time because I just exist like freely. I just get to exist for me now. And it feels really good because I know that little boy would thrive knowing that, would be like, oh my God, that feels great. So I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like an older version of him.
Well, that brings us to the wow segment of our program, the words of wisdom. I always like to ask my guests, what words of wisdom do you have for others regarding how to be your most authentic self?
I would say you just gotta trust your gut with everything that you feel. You've gotta take the leaps that you feel like you need to take. Your gut always knows best. Even if you're like, do you know what? That was a phase. We're gonna move on. That was a part of your journey. So you have to learn to appreciate the journey, whatever funny stages you've had along the way. And I just think there's no one out there that's doing you better than you. So I just think it's leaning in to all the things that make you feel like your most authentic self, whatever that is.
What would you like to share in terms of socials or ways in which people can track you down, book you, find you, go see you?
Cool. All my socials, the same handle. It's just at Smashby Official. So it's Smashby Y Official. I've got a new single out. It's called First Rodeo. You can get that on all music platforms. And you can book me from the email. Just book me for any shows, any gigs, prides, proms, whatever. Thank you for any love and support that I get. Thank you for any hate that I get because it all adds to what I'm doing. So
Thank you so much for being here. My name is Shane Hodges, author of It's Time to Be You, How to Become Your Most Authentic Self. You'll see my socials posted. You can find me on Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook, and YouTube. Thank you all for watching. Be your authentic self and have a great day, everybody.
thank you so much.